And we are live. And now we are going to start the recording, and then I'm going to start telling you the explanation. Where's the recording?
Wow. You're now custom live streaming.
Yes, but there should be a record button, and it is not here.
It's normally in the upper left corner, but there's an exclamation mark where
here it is. Record to compute. There. Okay. So, yeah, there's a little explanation, but welcome to any Sunday Songwriters. What's happened is Chris, who lives in Colorado, has been on tour in Boston most recently, and he thought that he'd be leaving in time to be in Pennsylvania before it was time to get on this show. However, that is not what happened. They left late, and it was not the way they planned to do it. So he's in his car at the moment. I sent him the link. He's going to hop on at some point when they find a comfortable place for him to play, and then he'll be playing too. But in the meantime, Neil and I will be swapping songs like nobody's business. Oh, there I am, only dabbled with in Photoshop, I think. That's how I got that. This Photoshop has a bunch of really interesting things in it. Anyway, that's the original, which my husband says is better than the Photoshopped one. I like them both. My husband is not going to be doing sound today because he is in Mexico, bless his heart, for Dia de los Muertos, which I can only say if I close my eyes and wink a little bit.
I have a song about that.
Do you? Okay. Well, you also have a very interesting background. Ladies and gentlemen, or gentlemen only, excluding the lady behind Rick. Yes, they are. Matter of fact, now that you mention it. I would like to introduce you to Neil Dale, who I met on a song circle somewhere, possibly California, maybe Massachusetts, or points in between. It's hard to remember anymore. But here is Neil, and he's going to tell you a little bit about himself, and then he's going to play us a song. Aren't you, Neil?
I guess that's I should have figured on that now, shouldn't I? Well, yes. Yeah, I live in Bedford, Massachusetts, and I've been playing for a number of years now, but mostly I've been concentrating on the work that I'm doing, which is writing a book on the ecology behind the idea that the earth is a living being, not just a lot of entities, but a living being. So I've been writing songs. Some of them are directly about that, but some of them are much more indirect. So that's kind of how I come to playing. Well, his first song is actually, if you know any ecology, it's about baseline creep. It's called The Frog's Lament, and it's about the myth that the myth of our age that you could boil a frog in water if you just turned up the heat very, very slowly. They just don't notice. And I hope that never happened. It was I'm afraid it was some German scientist in the 19th century. But anyway, it's about more than just the climate. It's about biodiversity loss. In fact, the song comes from my own backyard and things that I slowly noticed weren't there anymore, which is kind of disturbing when you finally notice it. So this is called Frog's Lament. Do you remember there were butterflies and you just couldn't catch 'em even if you tried? Well, there's something wrong, yeah, it's getting clear. I have not seen a dozen since this time last year. And there's a frog in the water and it's feeling fine and it keeps getting hotter. He don't mind, and that frog in the water looks like you and me, 'cause we just don't remember how it used to be. Do you remember on a summer night how the bats flew in circles in the fading light? Then the fireflies would light 1,000 sparks, but the bats are gone and the fields are dark. And there's a frog in the water and it's feeling fine and it keeps getting hotter. He don't mind, and that frog in the water looks like you and me, 'cause we just don't remember how it used to be. Do you remember when the lightning flashed and the rain poured buckets and the thunder crashed? You'd hide in bed until your mom would say it'll fade like a dream in the light of day. But these thunderstorms, they are getting mean. They can pack a punch like you've never seen. They will break your trees, flood your yard, and hail like rocks will destroy your car. And there's a frog in the water and it's feeling fine and it keeps getting hotter. He don't mind, and that frog in the water looks like you and me, 'cause we just don't remember how it used to be. I looked out my window, then I looked real hard. There was a native hunter crossing my backyard, and the woods were filled with birds and deer. He waved my way and then he disappeared. And there's a frog in the water and it's feeling fine and it keeps getting hotter. He don't mind, and that frog in the water looks like you and me, 'cause we've got to remember. Yeah, we've got to remember. We've got to remember how it used to be. Yeah.
Bravo. You know, I had noticed at one point, Austin is getting built up by leaps and bounds, and there'd be an empty field, like on the corner of 38th and Guadalupe. There'd be an empty field, and you just got used to seeing that empty field. And then somebody bought the empty field, and they built something on it. And within, seems like minutes, you would drive by there, and it was like that building had always been there. You'd just forgotten that it used to be an empty field full of trees.
Or you have a child who grows up and doesn't even know there used to be butterflies.
Mm-hmm.
Just like you just tell them that, but it doesn't sink in. I told my kids that thunderstorms never used to be dangerous. It was something you just didn't even concern you. Well, lightning maybe, but they didn't believe me. They thought that they'd always been like this.
Yeah. I remember being woken up by thunder at one point, and we lived across the road from the airport, which now has been moved out of town, but at the time it was right in the middle of town. And there was this huge clap of thunder, but I didn't know that. I thought they dropped an airplane, and I got up and I ran to my daughter's room and I said, I think they dropped an airplane. And she said, "It's thunder, Mom. Go back to sleep." Yeah. Hi, Jackie. We are now truly international. How are you? You are muted, or
you're silent for some reason. No, now you're muted, definitely. Now you're not, according to the...
Huh. Are you using a different microphone than the one Zoom is expecting? Because that happens to me all the time. One of these days I'm coming to see you and we can just stand right next to each other and talk.
Where is Jackie?
Jackie is in England.
Can you hear me now?
Yes. You sound like a phone commercial.
Where are you, Jackie?
In Surrey, in United Kingdom.
Yes. Across the pond. Well, I'm going to do a Halloween song, so don't go away, Rick. Although it's not about frogs getting boiled. It's still about somebody getting boiled. I had a house full of teenagers at the time this was written, and the only excuse I can make for it is it seemed like a good idea at that time. What are we having for dinner, Mother? What are you cooking, dear mother of mine? I wanted to play with my baby brother, and I've called everywhere, but I never could find him. The baby's gone early to his little bed, 'cause he's kept us up crying so late. And we're having lamb stew for dinner tonight, and it's high time we sat down and ate. So what do you have in your skillet, Mother? And by the way, where is my sister? I went down to town to meet her this evening, but I guess that I must have missed her. I caught her kissing young Roger McDuff this morning at 9:30. Oops, and she's locked in her room. Now go wash up. These are croquettes I'm frying. Don't you mean croquettes, Mother? And why is my father not in his place? I looked for him all over, but I couldn't find any trace. Whoops, hold on. Your father is down at the tavern again, where he spends every evening almost. And I doubt he'll be home to dine tonight, but we're having brandied pork roast. So what is it brews in your kettle, Mother? I see carrots, potatoes, and such. You've made enough for an army, I see. Who's gonna eat so much? Child, you ask so many questions. I've run out of patience with you. It's only family for dinner tonight. Come help me stir up the soup, my dear. Together we'll stir up the soup. Thank you. Like I said, it seemed like a very good idea at the time.
Oh. Yeah, I bet it did.
I don't think I've heard that one before.
I know you haven't. I only do it once a year to remind me not to invite any more teenagers into my life.
Remind you of when it seemed like a good idea. Wow.
Yeah, I had to close the door. It was getting way too cold up here.
Oh, yeah. Oh, that's the other thing. For those of you who are in Texas, you are experiencing it right at this moment. But for those of you who are not, here's what happens in Texas. It can be a beautiful 80 or 70 degree day, and the sun is shining, the birds are singing, the flowers are blooming, and suddenly the temperature will drop about 40 degrees, usually inside of a couple of hours. And that is happening to us right now, today, as I speak.
On the way down.
Yeah. Because it's a cold front coming down from the pole, and it comes through Canada, that's expected. It comes through northern U.S., that's expected too. It comes through here, and if we've had any rain recently, which we have, quite often that temperature drop freezes everything right where it sits. So, fun in Texas.
Well, let me ask you a question. Did it used to be that way 50 years ago or 40? Or
Oh, yeah.
It has been that way for at least 40 years. That
Way longer than my life.
Okay.
Yeah.
Oh, that's
Yeah.
good. No, it's just this baseline thing because, like, right now we're having exactly the same weather. Yesterday it was 85 here, and today it's not going to break 50. But that is unusual. We shouldn't have 80-degree weather at this time of year. We should have been
No.
over it a month ago. So I just thought
That's
I'd ask.
It's funny because we had days in New York when, in January when it was like 60 degrees. And this
Yep.
is going back a few years. And my daughter was going, everybody's walking around like this is some kind of gift. This is no gift.
Well,
This is
it's
a
not it's
problem.
not normal for us to be in the 80s in the end of October, but
No.
it happens time to time. But then there's usually some crashing cold front that comes through and knocks it all down. The question is, what do you wear for Halloween? And this year it's going to be, do you even go outside for Halloween?
Yeah, you wear your snowsuit. That's what in Michigan, that's what my mother made me do every year. I'd get this elaborate costume and she would cover it up with my snowsuit.
Well, I have a question. This is a song. I'm going to shift the order because this is my Halloween song. It's
Okay.
called "The Majesty of Monarchs," which I did some reading in archaeology and discovered that you probably know that all the monarchs gather from all over North America in one small valley just outside of Mexico City every year on Dia de los Muertos. And so they were discovering, the archaeologists, that for as long as anyone can, find, that they have always associated monarch butterflies with warriors. And they think that they felt that when they died, they became butterflies. And so that's why Dia de los Muertos it's when the dead returned. It's when the warriors came back. So, yeah, isn't that amazing?
Yeah.
I have a question for you guys, though, because according to my understanding, I mean, they left our area a month ago. We haven't seen them for a couple of months, but they should be funneling through Texas. Do you see them?
Yes,
That's
they
really
do
cool.
funnel through Texas. They come around mid-October and they keep on going because they're actually going to Mexico.
They're going to that little valley,
Yeah.
which is just 30 miles from Teotihuacan, which is the oldest city in Mexico. So, kind of, I don't think that's coincidence. I think that they honored them anyway. So that's cool. I'm glad to hear that. I just it seemed reasonable, but I just wasn't sure. I never talked to someone like that. Okay, cool. So anyway, this is called "The Majesty of Monarchs." Oh, tell me of this hidden world I cannot see. When looking with my eyes, it is invisible. Dead warriors are butterflies floating free in summer fields of paradise, so beautiful. At Halloween, the dead return, we celebrate. Colors that we choose, orange and black, come drifting to our dreaming minds from Mexico. Those dancing monarch butterflies that wear them on their back. On the broad back of Turtle Island, from the Rockies to East Coast, monarchs sip their nectar, they mate, their children growing fat on their beloved milkweed. All summer long in flowered fields they float and pollinate. One day in early autumn, some signal passes through. Monarch butterflies no longer roam. A billion floating spirits know exactly what to do. They turn as one and heading south begin their journey home. In their millions and their billions, they reach their mountain home. Each journey of 1,000 miles is clear, and long before our mother brought forth the human race, this majesty of monarchs breathed the circle of the years. El Dia de los Muertos is what it's called today. We celebrate the life that doesn't end, and as long as human spirit has reached for the unknown, departing souls have spread their wings as butterflies again. Now comes the verse that hurts, and I don't want to sing. Maybe someday we can leave it out. The monarch populations are plummeting, and all the birds and insects who you don't hear so much about. They need their native flowers, milkweed their daily bread. Our chemicals and lawns could be their doom. We can't be the generations that cut that ancient thread, leading warriors and loving hearts into endless gloom. From the dawn of human history in Mexico, departing souls returned as butterflies, and each year in November they honored their return, when clouds of migrant monarch wings came dancing through the sky. So plant the native flowers and trees and milkweed, and leave those poison chemicals alone. Let nature weave her spell on Turtle Island once again, and warriors and loving hearts will make their journey home.
Wow. That gives a whole new facet to Dia de los Muertos, you know?
Yeah.
I mean, my God.
And it connects us to them.
Yeah.
The butterflies are in heaven when they're here.
Yeah.
They go through three or four generations before they get that last generation that can fly all the way back. How they pass on, somehow they pass on the exact knowledge of how to get from Bedford, Massachusetts to Mexico, and from Saskatchewan, Canada to Mexico. They pass on that. How doesn't make sense.
I doubt that there's one person in, I don't know, thousands that makes the connection between the monarchs and the traditions.
That's right.
And it's like so much was lost in the European conquest of whatever they could get their hands on, and you have to wonder, was that the only destiny we could have had?
Yeah, I think it was.
Yeah. I mean, it is the one we got. So
I mean, it's like we were cut off from nature before we left England. And when we got here, we just arrived and don't yet acknowledge the genocide. We don't yet acknowledge our connection to the land because we can't psychologically. We got to, but we haven't made it yet. We're trying.
Yeah. Wow. That's just mind blowing.
Isn't that amazing?
Yeah.
I love that idea.
I do too. I'm looking forward to hearing more about it. Hello to Steve. How are you?
Hi, Steve.
So I'm going to do something in a similar vein because what you brought to mind was this argument that I've had for generations now, or it feels that way anyway, about primitive populations and whether or not they were lacking in intelligence and were so much smarter than them. I haven't seen any evidence of that, but anyway, here's my take on it. Yes.
I'm interrupting you. I'm sorry. I forgot to tell you. The guitar is a little hot. You could turn it down a little bit.
Oh, thank you.
I'm sorry. I had meant to tell you that.
Okay. Starting again. Better? Come, let me show you the caves of Lascaux, where horses and deer and buffalo dance, across the walls and the ceilings and the arches above. Ancient and sacred, a gift from the artist's hands. Come with me back to a time when we were young. Follow the herds from an African sun. Enter the caves where they all freely run. And the artist traced his hand in the caves of Lascaux. Here in our 21st century myth, we all think we live by some God-given plan, and all life on earth is for our benefit, ours for the taking, as fast as we can. But come with me back to a time when we were young. Follow the herds from an African sun. Enter the caves where they all freely run. And the artist traced his hand in the caves of Lascaux. Come kneel in the torchlight, come bow your head, give thanks to your brother, by whose grace you will be fed. And come with me back to a time when we were young. Follow the herds from an African sun. Enter the caves where they all freely run. And the artist traced his hand in the caves of Lascaux. Thank you.
That's beautiful.
Thanks. Where did you find that painting, Rick? That's
On
perfect.
the web.
Oh yeah.
I did a Google search for cave paintings in France hand traced, and boom, I had a
And
whole
there it
pile of them
is.
to choose from, and some others were cool too, but I thought that did the most.
Yeah, they were human, and they had a completely different take on this than we do. Not stupid.
I think they've, another scientific study. Scientists recently discovered that, in my opinion. But anyway, they did a study and found that they think that most of those hands are women's hands, for what it's worth.
I like that idea.
Just
I may be biased.
Well, it makes sense actually. Anyway. Yeah, I've loved those paintings ever since I was a kid. Good song.
They don't let you in there anymore. They
No.
they let you into a replica.
Actually, there are other caves near there, like Rouffignac, where they're not as spectacular, but in a way they're just you can actually see them. So there's a few places you can go.
Here's the other thing I read about this, that actually this was like going to the movies, and they would set up torches that would flicker and make the drawings move. That's why there's like multiple lines for the outline of the animal and stuff like that. The animal would move in that torchlight. So I hope that's true. I really liked that one.
I mean, now that you mention it, it's like the cathedrals. We think of them as static objects, but they were filled with music and pageantry. So this cave may well have been filled with acoustical performances and storytelling and stuff like that. Yeah.
We were in Florence and we went to see the cathedral there, and the choir, or maybe the organist, started practicing. I had to go sit on the steps because my daughter was wearing a sleeveless shirt and they wouldn't let her in. So I went to sit with her after I walked through it and went out the door and sat with her. But my husband said that they started rehearsing the choir, or the organ player started to play, and the sound in there was spectacular, to the point where he sat down and then laid down on the floor. Wow. And closed his eyes, and he said, I was aware of nothing but the music until one of the caretakers came and kind of nudged him with his foot. He said, Sir, you can't do that in here.
That's great that he got to appreciate that. That must be.
Yeah. I was so jealous. Anyway, serve us up another gem.
Well, this is called The Heart of the Earth. It doesn't need an explanation. There's a voice you can hear in the roar of the sea. There's a song to be heard on the wind in the trees. And it might take a while for it to come clear, but the heart of the earth is the voice that you hear. And it feels like call of the wild, and it shines with the light in the eyes of a child, and it shines with the stars in the heavens above, and the heart of the earth is the motion of love. Fill your lungs with the air and hold it a while. It was breathed by a camel on the banks of the Nile. Got its oxygen back from the Amazon trees. Then it took the express from the Florida Keys, and it rises with the hawk to the sky, and it feels like that thrill when she catches your eye, and it shines with the stars in the heavens above, and the heart of the earth is the motion of love. Dig your toes in the dirt in any backyard, and you're part of the earth, whoever you are. The dirt runs under cities, under any wall, from the poles to the tropics, connecting us all. And it feels like waking up from a dream, and it fights like a salmon that's swimming upstream, and it shines with the stars in the heavens above, and the heart of the earth is the motion of love. Jesus was a gambler, Mohammed was the same. They went all in for love in playing the game, and the Buddha greets Moses over the sea. We'll be brothers and sisters eventually, and it cries out in the land of my birth, and it rides with the dawn as it circles the earth, and it shines with the stars in the heavens above, and the heart of the earth is the motion of love, and it cries out in the land of my birth, and it rides with the dawn as it circles the earth, and it floats with the clouds in the heavens above, and the heart of the earth is the motion of love. The heart of the earth is the motion of love. Yes, the heart of the earth is the motion of love.
Nice tune, Neil.
Yeah. So for those of you who joined us after the beginning, I wanted to explain what's happened with Chris, because he was planning to be here, but the plan was he's coming back from Colorado, and the plan was for them to leave Boston this morning early and end up in Pennsylvania in time to do this show. But that is not what happened. And so he's still in his car on his way to wherever it was he was planning to stop in Pennsylvania. And as soon as he can, he's going to get on, do a few songs, and get back in his car and continue the drive. So we're looking forward to having him here. He didn't forget us, and he's not MIA. He's just sort of on hold.
He's just MIA, right?
What?
He's just MIA, right?
Missing in action. Yeah, well, he's not missing. I've talked to him on the phone, but he's missing from here. So we know where he is. It's just we can't have him where we are. We were talking about something earlier, and I can't remember now what it was, but I'm a feminist, and I was at a conference of folk singers. This is a couple years ago when Kavanaugh was being approved of. ushered in, yeah. And some of us accepted that differently than others. And the issue was, it was Friday afternoon, and Christine Blasey Ford was being interviewed for what she wanted the Senate to know about Kavanaugh. And
Jackie, in case you don't know, I don't know if you know, has to do with a Supreme Court justice who was put in by Trump. I don't know if you know about him or not.
Apparently, he had a somewhat filthy past.
Right, and
she was there to tell us about it.
Yep.
And she was not a willing participant in it, but she was a participant just the same. But they ignored her, just like they ignored Anita Hill when Clarence Thomas was put on the Supreme Court. And I wrote this song because at SWRFA, Southwest Regional Folk Alliance, what happens is when you pick up your registration material, they present you with a fishbowl full of what looks like fortune cookie fortunes. And your job is to fish one of those fortune cookie things out, and that is your prompt for the song you're going to write this weekend, despite workshops and official showcases and unofficial showcases and a Beatles jam that goes on all night. Somehow you're going to fit the writing of a song from this prompt and present it at brunch on Sunday morning. Well, my prompt, actually, you want to know the truth, I can't remember what the prompt was now, but it brought to mind the Serenity Prayer. And the Serenity Prayer is from Alcoholics Anonymous, and it goes, God grant me the serenity to accept the things I cannot change, the courage to change the things I can, and the wisdom to know the difference. Well, I had seen a bunch of posts on Facebook at that time. I'm no longer accepting what I cannot change. I'm going to change it. That's my job. And I wrote this song around all of that. Gonna lay my serenity on the line now. I'm laying my serenity on the line. I used to be adaptable, but now I must decline to accept what I know needs changing. I'm laying my courage on the line now. I'm laying my courage on the line. Used to go along to get along like I was deaf and blind. Now I won't accept what I know needs changing. And I'm not apologizing. I'm not apologizing. I'm not apologizing. 'Cause I'm not sorry. I'm laying my wisdom on the line now. I'm laying my wisdom on the line. And I'll keep on persisting, and I will not resign, and I won't accept what I know needs changing. No, I won't accept what I know in my heart needs changing. And it's deliberately a cappella so that you can sing it while marching.
Good.
Thank you.
Go ahead, song down.
very nice.
Love it.
Thank you.
Well, this song is not unrelated. This song is it's slightly autobiographical in the sense that it's several moments, but only several moments in my life when I went all in. You know, when you just have no choice. It's called Off the Edge. Hoofbeats sound through an open door in the muffled dark of the valley floor. Grab a halter from the bin, with a little luck can bring 'em in. Ride the rising glory as the night cries to the day.
They're back down the valley as the lead horse breaks away. Drum beats loud in the village squares, a rhythm trance in the dusty air. Make your way through the sweat and skin. If you lose yourself, they will take you in. Can't wait another weekend for the men to get their pay. I'm driving in tomorrow, and I don't care what you say. Rising up from a clouded sea to the biggest blue you could ever see. Miles up high where the air is clear, you are all alone in the atmosphere. Feel the rolling motion as Earth turns on her way. Hear her mighty music and what she has to say. Everyone with a human face has a different view from a different place. You can sing it proud, you can sing it strong, you can add a verse to the human song. Water shines below you when you're next up on the ledge. It all comes clear together when you're flying off the edge.
Yeah, that was nice.
Thank you.
Okay, let's do this. In keeping, I'll save all my ugly stuff for later.
I know what you mean. It's always a choice, isn't it?
Yeah. I wonder if that's the real key. I wonder what the real key actually is. Come to the woods with me. Let the trees tell you their secrets. Drink from the river that flows through the forest. Come to the woods with me. Come to the woods with me. Hear the miracle of the bird song. Let it transport you and wrap you in calm. Come to the woods with me. Forget your future, forget your machines. Forget your 5-year plan. Just for the moment, remember your dreams and breathe in that sweetness as deep as you can. And come to the woods with me. Find the birthplace of ancient wisdom. Let it restore your sweet optimism. Find your heart, find your soul. Let it make you whole. And come to the woods with me. Forget your future, forget your machines. Forget that 5-year plan. Just for a moment, remember your dreams and bask in that sweetness as long as you can. And come to the woods with me, find the birthplace of ancient wisdom. Let it restore your sweet optimism. Find your heart, find your soul. Let it make you whole. And come to the woods. Come to the woods. Come to the woods with me. Cue. That wasn't the real key. I don't know what the real key is.
The discussion among experts.
It's the key of elusive.
Yes. Minor. Key of elusive minor.
That's beautiful.
Thank you.
I can look, it's still summer enough that I look out the window and I see the trees and the leaves and stuff. It's when you're playing, it's nice to look out at them. So this song is called Arms Around Us All. The idea is that pretty simple. I don't know. Well, if you've been a parent or remember being a child, you remember the situation where you and a sibling were saying it's his fault or it's her fault, and the mother and father in the case just goes back and forth and simply can't decide and really thinks it doesn't matter. So this song is the idea is that our great Mother Earth is in a similar position with us. It's called Arms Around Us All. When I got home, I shut the door. I really couldn't take much more. My kids were jumping on the floor, and then my cell phone rang. Somewhere far away from me, an old opossum in a tree. He's hunkered down so peacefully, gazing at us all. We're all in this together. Every elm and elephant, every human too. We shout and fight and disagree. It's them that's always wrong, not me. Our mother waiting patiently, arms around us all. Build another shopping mall, big McMansion growing tall, drive a superhighway through it all. But little root ends meet and touch, and tiny microbes eat their lunch, and fungus weaves a world around them underneath us all. We're all in this together. Every crow and coconut, every human too. Shout and fight and disagree. It's them that's always wrong, not me. Our mother waiting patiently, arms around us all. And if your life is just a bore, each day means 100 more. Your cares are caught in cubicles and screens. Somewhere on the open sea, a dolphin's jumping, swimming free. She's swimming upside down, blowing bubbles at us all. We're all in this together. Every loon and liverwort, every human too. We shout and fight and disagree. It's them that's always wrong, not me. Our mother waiting patiently, arms around us all. They're trying to hype a civil war. Everybody's keeping score. You've got to make someone to hate to be worth fighting for. But when I want to criticize, I find that I can lift my eyes and watch a golden eagle soaring high above us all. We're all in this together.
every cow in Cottonwood, every human too. We shout and fight and disagree. It's them that's always wrong, not me. Our mother waiting patiently, arms around us all. We humans think we do it all. Emails, x-rays, iPhones call. Compared to Mother Earth, it isn't much. She makes the air, she breathes for you, she grows your heart, then beats it too. What was it that you said? We do, proud about it all. We're all in this together. Every fish and frog and fern and every human too. We shout and fight and disagree, but maybe someday we will see our mother waiting patiently underneath us all, high above us all, gazing at us all, laughing at us all, arms around us all.
Yeah. I have to say that when that happened in my house, my mother would punish us all by sending us to our room, and she would go to her room and take a nap. And I followed proudly in her footsteps. But the more important thing, well, there's one other important thing I need to mention. Rick, you got a big compliment from Ken Nagelberg on the Facebook version of this. He really likes what you're doing with your backgrounds. And then, ta-da, here's Chris in the back of his car, but he's muted, so we can't hear him.
You're muted.
There you go. Ask to unmute. I just did. There we go.
Hey.
So this is
hello from Pennsylvania.
This is Chris Collins. I know it says Suzanne's iPhone, but it really is Chris Collins,
It really is me.
who was hoping to be here for the whole time. But I'm going to give him a few songs to do because I don't think he can keep this up forever.
All right, I'm going to try to get Suzanne, my friend, to hold the phone here, and I'll do my best.
Suzanne, turn it to you so that we can say thank you properly.
Oh. Hello.
Thank you very much for indulging this.
Hold it up and tip it down just a little bit. Like that. There. Man, are your arms going to get tired?
Yeah, hold it still or we'll get sick.
So we just got done playing at Plymouth Memorial Hall up in Massachusetts, and things went a little awry last night, so we got off to kind of a shaky start this morning, so we're running late. Otherwise, I would have been able to do the whole show with you.
Got it.
So, I kind of missed what you guys do. So
okay. Well, normally
normally
we do this in the round, but we're going to give you like a 3-song set so that you can get back on the road and get to your destination. This is just tell us a little about yourself and then play us a bunch of songs.
Well, I do a John Denver tribute show all over the U.S., and I've worked with you on your little project for Plant a Tree.
Mm-hmm.
So, I started off doing my own music, but then the John Denver thing sort of happened, and have not played much original music lately. So I dug deep to try to find a couple things that I could play for you today. Says, this might be hard to do and stay in tune. I already bumped it out of tune. There we go.
What's the temperature there?
It's about 50 degrees, maybe a little cooler.
Oh.
Colors are still changing here. You're in Texas.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So it's probably in the 80s or 90s there.
I wish. No, we got a norther today.
The weather just changed here.
Yeah,
too.
it was 80 degrees yesterday on the coast up in Massachusetts. We woke up this morning to rain and cold. So it's been quite the change.
Yeah, we got up to 80 and then the cold front hit.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I'm going to try to play this and not bump my tuners. It's a little cramped in here, as you can see by the video. It actually looks much more spacious on the video than in real life.
Oh, too bad.
Priuses are not known for their performance space. So we'll give this our best shot. I sat down to write a letter. I heard your road was rough. When I put my thoughts on paper, words were not enough. I don't know when we changed on what you thought was true, but my world is just a place because I'm missing you. I miss your voice, I miss your smile, I miss the love we do. Most of all, I miss the way I felt when I wasn't missing you. My friends tell me how you're doing. I hear it's not been good. I say a little prayer to send your way. I hope it's understood. I don't know when we changed or what you thought was true, but my world is just a little less bright because I'm missing you. I miss your voice, I miss your smile, I miss your point of view. Most of all, I felt when I wasn't missing you. And I don't know when we changed what we thought was true, but my world is just a little less bright because I'm missing you. And I don't know changed or what we thought was true, but my world is just a little less bright because I'm missing you.
Bravo, but there's something I have to tell you. There's a technical adjustment that needs to be made.
Uh-oh.
On the phone, down at the bottom of the Zoom screen, there's 3 dots that say more. So if somebody could tap those 3 dots,
Let's see.
and then a menu will pop up.
Let's try it this way.
If you're the one on.
3 dots.
See them?
I know what she's talking.
No, the only thing on the bottom of my screen is a picture, a way to show my picture or your name.
Huh.
Maybe they're at the top.
Maybe they're at the top. That's a good idea.
Those 3 little dots are kind of characteristic.
Yeah.
Yeah. You got to get to him one way or the other. Maybe tap the screen and see.
Uh-oh. He's gone entirely.
Well, he may be working on it.
Yeah.
Yeah, getting original sound. I've never met anyone who knew how to get original sound on a smartphone.
I do, because I
That's
teach,
great.
and
That's so
occasionally they don't have a laptop, they don't have an iPad, so we have to do it on their phone. So I found out how to do it.
I'm glad to hear it. It's really
Okay,
good.
so take notes. This is how. You tap those 3 dots, it comes up with a menu, and the menu says settings, but it also says meetings, and meetings is the one you want. And then when you tap meetings, then it goes original sound or what we play, whatever says, and that's what you push. Use original sound, I think is what it actually says. Yeah. But you can't get to it through settings. You can only get to it through meeting.
Suzanne, did you manage to find the 3 dots?
You're muted. There. No, not there. Here.
There we are.
There. Good. Did you find the 3 dots?
Not yet, but I'm looking.
Okay, when you find them, you're going to get a menu that has settings on it, and it also has meetings. Meetings is the item you want. And then when you go to the meetings menu, then the use original sound is on that menu. It's not on the settings menu.
Okay. All right, let's see here. Touch up appearance, show self view. Stop incoming vid, share my connected time. Share controls. Well, we're in there, but it's show it.
Is that on the Zoom thing? Is that on a Zoom?
I found it right away. All you had to do is follow our instructions. It can work.
You found the 3 dots, right?
We're on a phone and we are in meetings.
Yeah.
But
Meetings.
But it's not in meetings?
Yeah, that isn't where I found it, but
Show self
Oh, no, you can't go right to meeting settings. You have to go through the 3 dots to meetings, and then it'll be on the menu.
I found it hitting the gear.
We got meeting things, background effects, and disconnect audio. That's what we got on ours.
Okay, go back to the beginning. Rick, tell him what you found.
I found a gear in the upper left-hand corner. I tapped on it, and then meetings, and right away I found use original sound. You would have to kind of go out of the connection to us to do that, maybe.
I've done it in the connections, but yeah, okay. So it's not the 3 dots anymore, it's the gear.
See if it's the sound. No, that just mutes it. That just mutes it. Let's see.
Try gear. You have to find the gear.
Yeah, there's a cogwheel somewhere.
I'm looking.
If not, we'll just learn to love what we have.
So what are you getting from this end?
No,
are you just getting
wait, I should ask this. Are you on an iPhone or an Android?
iPhone?
Okay, good.
We didn't get very much. When you play,
but we loved it.
When you get the guitar, it's when you play it, we only hear a little part of the strum.
Yeah.
Or stare reaction.
I know this is very frustrating. I'm sorry.
The other option is you could leave this, find the gear when you're starting up Zoom, because the gear does appear in the upper left-hand corner, and then reconnect to us while they go on and play something else.
Yeah, go ahead and do that a while, and let us look at it a minute.
Okay.
So it's
Thank you for your patience.
Gear meeting use original sound.
Okay.
Neil, why don't you take it? Because I just discovered I forgot to plug in my pedal.
Okay. Sure. Well, this one is actually
original
slightly
sound.
about my Uncle Jim, who was not my uncle. And it's not true anyway, so there you have it. But it starts out sort of similar to him. It just doesn't go where he went.
My Uncle Jim's one hell of a guy. All around the world on a big jet plane he did fly, searching for diamonds, rubies, and pearls, and always an eye out for pretty young girls. He always warned me of pie in the sky. If you can't buy it, well, just pass it by. And take my advice as through life you do roll. Keep your eye on the donut, not on the hole. River rolls without a sound. Current carries us round and round. What was can turn around. Well, he's not been seen for a couple of years. Many sweet women shed many blue tears, but rumors come back from all parts of the world that he's hot on the trail of the world's biggest pearl. He sold all his diamonds, he took all his gold. It made quite a bundle, or so I am told. Saddled a donkey somewhere in Brazil and headed alone up into the hills. Rumored in China, Spain, and Siam, crossing a desert in Azerbaijan. But deep in the jungle or high on a hill, he's gotta move on, and he always will. Some tell you he's a sinner, some tell you he's a saint. I tell you he's a picture that's not easy to paint. But I have this feeling until I grow old that he found the donut, not the hole. River rolls without a sound, current carries us round and round. But what was lost can still be found. When you're all washed up, you can turn around.
There. Okay, now, Chris. Did you find it?
We
Yes?
did not find it.
Okay, well, let's...
We looked everywhere.
Oh, dang. Okay. Well, here's a burning
We'll have to
question.
do this another time, I guess, when I can be on my computer.
Yeah. Well, here's a question for you. Where are you going to be next, and where can people find you online?
I think the camera got. Can you see me now?
Yeah.
Okay, the camera got flipped. Where am I going to be next? We are going to be at the Carlisle Theater in Carlisle, Pennsylvania on Saturday, and on Friday before that, the 3rd of November, we will be in Altoona, Pennsylvania at the Mishler Theater.
Cool. And you'll be doing your John Denver show?
show?
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's great. This man has
sorry
made a
this didn't work
huge
out.
success out of that. And
Well, thanks.
yeah, I mean, we're all very proud of you, those of us here in the Observers Lounge. And where can we find you online?
At JohnDenverTributeBand.com or BoulderCanyonBand.com.
Cool. Okay. So I should probably let you go on down the road and get to your destination before it gets any colder. But
and thanks for inviting me. I'm so sorry that we couldn't get the signal to work properly.
Yeah, I am too, because really you guys ought to hear this person. But
well, this is kind of like car karaoke without the guitar.
Yes. Car karaoke without the karaoke either.
That's right.
Okay,
All right, well, you guys have a great show, and thanks for the invite. Maybe we can do it again when I'm in a better position.
Get in touch with me and let me know when you're free in 2024.
Okay, will do.
Okay.
All right.
See you soon.
All right, bye.
Bye. And Neil, how about you? Where are you online, and where are you going to be next?
Well, let's see. I have a website called whoistheearth.com, and that has tabs for talks I've given and the book I wrote and song videos. I try and get songs into videos, so that's the best place. I also have my songs on YouTube at Neil Dale Songs, which is more,
Okay, that works.
Yeah.
Oh, all right. So
I see, Rick, you've got a creative solution for finding a donut and not the hole. You got a donut without a hole in it.
Yeah.
That I don't think was ever anybody's thought. That's a good idea.
Well, I've got both. I've got with hole, without hole.
I'll take whatever I can get.
Yeah.
Including the holes.
That one looks really good.
I do.
Yeah, it really does.
That one looks like it's got an apricot filling, though.
That one
the hole was the best part. At least we could say that.
Yeah.
Anyway,
they are unholy.
Ouch.
Unholy.
Okay, so I'm going to pick up on Chris's love song and do this. If I had it to do over, a mulligan for all of those mistakes, maybe I would take it slower and think about the reasons I should wait for the other shoe. But then I wouldn't be with you. If I had it to do over, a second chance to turn and walk away from all those careless promises and all the times my trust was betrayed 'cause I didn't have a clue. But then I wouldn't be with you. You are the reason I still believe a guardian angel watches over me. So if I had it to do over, an opportunity that few receive, I might be lying here tonight, dreaming dreams that probably would never come true. So I wouldn't follow through because then I wouldn't be with you.
Wow, that was pretty.
Thank you.
Yeah, lovely song.
Thanks. The question was, if you had it to do over, would you? And my answer was, turn one pebble on the beach.
Maybe. I'm going back to my theme here. This is a slightly Halloween-y song. At least you can take it that way. I do regret, as they say in the campaigns, going negative, but sometimes you do. Anyway, this is called The Woman Out There.
There's a woman out there singing in the silence, a woman out there sighing in the sea. There's a woman out there blowing in the meadow. There's a woman out there sitting in a tree. There's a woman out there tapping on the window, a woman out there where the ice is thin. There's a woman out there says she's your mother. There's a woman out there and we better let her in. Oh, how we loved our gardens. We took such pride in our lawns. We didn't know the birds were slipping away, didn't know the insects were gone. Running with the waves in the open ocean, flying in the foam when the waves get tall, gliding soft, the forest catbird, digging in the dirt with the little mouse small. There's a woman out there baking in the sunlight, a woman out there getting pretty warm. There's a woman out there turning in a circle. There's a woman out there brewing up a storm. Airplanes flew over the oceans and cars rushed over the land, while clouds of invisible vapor were turning our meadows to sand. There's a woman out there looking at the cities. There's a woman out there underneath your lawn. There's a woman out there and we better not forget her, or the woman out there says we'll be gone. There's a woman out there tapping on the window, a woman out there where the ice is thin. There's a woman out there says she's your mother. There's a woman out there and we better let her in. 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 Better let her in.
She's right behind you.
No, she's right behind you.
Right.
All around.
So you opened the door. You may regret that. We'll see.
Oh. That's always how it happens in campaigns, isn't it?
Yeah. So I was driving to Kansas, and all the flags were at half staff. And it took me a while to remember why they were all at half staff. It was because the Covington School incident has just occurred. I sang this song that Jen Cass created the lyrics for, and I set it to music. She sent me the lyrics, and I went, "Oh, that's great. Congratulations." And she said, "Well, it was your idea." Well, the idea came from right after I got to a place that I could. I wrote, they might as well just leave those flags at half staff because they're not doing anything about the problem.
Let's go and keep on.
And she said, "Well, it was your idea." And after she reminded me, I remembered what she was talking about. So I was doing this song the other night. Thank you. I was doing this song the other night at the time when Lewiston was happening, which feels creepy, but I'm going to sing the song for you anyway. The flags above my country are at half-mast once again, and we're burying our children and their teachers and their friends. Hey, law enforcement got him, and he only murdered 10. So the flags above my country are at half-mast once again. The flags above my country are at half-mast every day, and the folks who hold the power seem to have nothing to say. They just send their thoughts and prayers up to protect the NRA. And the flags above my country are at half-mast every day. Why not leave the flags at half-mast It'll save us all some time. We can cut right to the part where we claim it is God's design. As we scroll the names and faces that were cut down in their prime. The flags above my country should be upside down today. Because the threat to life and property cannot be prayed away. And no good guy with a gun can stop a nation gone astray. So the flags above my country should be upside down today. Thank you.
Powerful.
I hope so.
Good song.
I was sort of negatively impressed by one of the Maine senators changing his mind about banning assault rifles now that it's hit him at home where he lives.
Well, at least it did. At least it hit him. I mean,
At least it hit him. I want to say better than late than never, but it's not. You know, it's just like Susan Collins after they found the guy dead, going, well, now we can all breathe a collective sigh of relief. Well, no, you can't. I know. I know. It's pathetic. But it's like Netanyahu. People keep electing them anyway.
Yeah, it's
Sorry. I can't help myself.
no, and it needs to be called out. It needs to be said because there's really nothing else you can do at this point. I mean, and when your song earlier said, well, it doesn't mean I'm not going to try and do something. You got to. Mm-hmm. You got to talk about it. Really, because the worst thing you could tell your children was, I didn't go down fighting. I just went down. So anyway. Well, I'm going to sound a more positive note here. This is a song about dirt. And dirt in ancient Egypt was the triliteral KMT, Kemet. At least that's how we think it was pronounced. And it was the soil of the Nile, and it was magic. Things got buried in it, and they came up alive. So the Arabs took that word, and they made alchemy out of it. And in Europe, it became alchemistry, because that was the science of transformation. And the British got it, and they made it boring, and they just called it chemistry. But dirt is magical. And if you bury things in it, they change. And even the word itself, dirt, has become buried. And while it became buried, it changed its meaning. And so now, if I tell you I'm going to sing you a dirty song about penetration and fecundity, I think I've got your attention. It isn't, but it is.
Work the soil for the seeds, digging up invasive weeds. Stretch and squeeze my fingers till they hurt. Sweating down another line, eggs and bacon on my mind, digging in the mystery of dirt. Plant another seedling in the ground. Shovel up some compost and spread it all around. Sift it on the soil like you're seasoning a stew. And she says, I'll grow a juicy melon just for you. I penetrate another world past matted roots and earthworms curled. A trillion microbes lie beneath my spade. They give the plants their precious food, but microbes need their breakfast too. They're working at their jobs and getting paid. Plant another seedling in the ground. Shovel up some compost and spread it all around. sifted on the soil like you're seasoning a stew. And she says, I'll grow some luscious cherries just for you. Little sapling starts to grow and sucks that sap up from below, till we face each other both alert. Then it goes and grows so high its branches nearly brush the sky. I know heaven has its roots deep in the dirt. Plant another seedling in the ground, shovel up some compost and spread it all around. Sift it on the soil like you're seasoning a stew. And she says, I'll grow a mighty maple tree for you, and I'll grow some luscious cherries just for you, and I'll grow a juicy melon maybe too.
Yeah. That whole idea of the soil being transformative, I really like that. I like it as much as I like the Day of the Dead one, because, of course, you don't think of it that way now, but that must have seemed so supernatural to the people who first discovered that you could put something in the ground and it would grow.
Yeah.
You know? Yeah. And so the idea of it being
alchemical.
Yeah.
That's a connection. The
who
Egyptians
thinks
made
about,
too.
I mean, the other day I saw a meme and I reposted it because I liked it so much. With all of the stuff we as humans have said and done, we owe our whole existence to 6 inches of topsoil and the fact that it rains. You know?
Well,
yeah, we would not be here if that was not the case. So
and
I'm
the
glad.
sun shines.
And what?
And the sun shines. We couldn't grow without sunshine.
That's true. It's just amazing that people. This is going back to the caves. You know, this is just exactly. There were many things that ancient humans had a better grip on than we do now.
Well, it's been like I saw this thing 6,000 years ago. They've come up with a wood that was notched to make a bridge or a house or something. People were doing that 476,000 years ago. Do you know we've had a long time to go up and down and up and down? Well, there may have been, who knows what we've been doing for the last.
Well, that's why I'm so angry about the burning of the libraries at Alexandria.
Oh, yeah.
I'm sure a lot of useful information got lost.
Yeah.
So, yeah. Between Hannibal and the library, I'm universally pissed for all of us. And I know that means something else where you are, Jackie, so that too.
Sometimes you just got to get pissed.
Yep. So, going back to my mother sending us all to bed so that she could go have a nap. And like I said, I proudly walked in her footsteps. So this I wrote for her because sometimes it wasn't quite so proudly. My mother lives in my mouth. I can hear her so clearly as I make your sandwich. Find your socks. Check your homework. No, let's just leave that rock in the garden because I said to. That's why my mother hides in my head and looks out my eyes as I watch from the window. You run to the bus stop, ponytail bouncing, hurrying up down the front walk. because I said to. That's why. And my mother's fingers tap my shoulder. How is she getting so much older so quickly? She asks me. My mother takes a seat in my mind, and one day I'll be the one sitting in yours, hearing you speak as we watch your children. Have a good day, I hear you tell them, because I said to. That's why. And then my fingers will tap your shoulder. Lord, how did you get so much older so quickly? My mother speaks with your voice. As I tell you good night, you question my choices and say that you'll never say that to your children. You'll always give them a very good reason. Well, here's the reason. Because I said to. That's why. Because I said to. That's why. Because I love you. That's why.
That's wonderful.
Thank you. Somebody told me it was a little disturbing.
Oh, no, it's true. It's true. I look in my face when I'm singing and I see my older brother, I see my father. I mean, it's true. You know,
Yep.
and I, you know, you can fight it or you can agree with it. But either way, you know, you have to, you know, you can spend your whole life being one or the other and not be real, you know?
Yeah.
So it's really powerful to see that. It's a great song.
Thank you. Well, I have done both.
Yeah.
But every once in a while, every once in a while, I walk into the bathroom in the morning and I just glance at the mirror on my way past it and think, that's my sister. Wait, where am I?
Yep.
So anyway.
Well, it's good to see it. I have to say, I'm not prepared to play for 2 hours with just one other person. I didn't prepare that many songs.
Yes, I understand.
So,
but
I think it's better that you don't look like the postman.
That I don't look like what?
The postman.
The postman.
Yes.
Gee, you look like somebody in your family.
Yeah,
that's true. I don't look like the postman. That's true. That's encouraging. Yes, yes.
Otherwise, you and your mom would have to have a little talk.
Well, this is about mothers too, actually, this song, but a different kind of mother. It's called "Doesn't Mama Love Me?"
Doesn't Mama love me? She told me so clear. Told me so this morning like a whisper in my ear. Told me with a blue jay flying on the breeze. Told me with the sunlight sparkling through the trees. The wind blows through every tree. Then it blows through me. Sit beside a brook and listen to its song. Dig your toes into the dirt, know where you belong. Mama says she loves me almost every day. kiss me on the cheek, and sends me on my way. The wind is calling me. Do I want to be free? Mama says she loves me when I am alone. Echoes in my heart with a deep mellow tone. Loves me with a blue jay flying up above. Loves me with the sunshine, warm shining love. Wind comes across the sea. Where will it take me?
Lovely.
Thank you.
That was sweet.
Thank you.
Sometimes finding the unmute button is more difficult than others.
Well, especially if you got two screens. I'm over there on the other screen finding these pictures and everything. And then the song ends and I go, it's over there.
We're
I like your
already
choice of-
home.
You got great backgrounds. Thank you so much. Rick.
Yeah, you've done a
sure.
great job.
Yeah, I just find something that looks like the song and boom.
Yeah, we have missed you, so I'm glad you're back.
Well, what happened was is a shelf above my computer broke off the wall, and it had like 15 reams of paper on it, and it smashed everything to the floor and unplugged almost everything. And I've got a million cables around here, so it's taken me weeks to get it all back together again.
Oh boy.
Well, I'm glad you made the effort. Welcome back.
Sure.
That's cool.
So I'm thinking maybe since we are taxing Neil's supply of songs, that maybe we ought to close up shop just a little bit early because I don't want to hog the other 15 minutes. So I'm going to sing one last song. It's directed at all of you and all the people that I saw today in Jerusalem or on the Jerusalem. I'm so grateful that everyone was there. I kind of understand more about my mother now because it's hard to worry about people you care about when you're so distant from them. And I moved out and left Detroit. I have to say, sidebar, driving around Michigan, I never really got to appreciate what autumn looked like in Michigan because I was always dreading what was coming next. And if the trees were turning, that meant we were going to be knee-deep in snow sometime very soon, and it was going to be cold. Cold is not my favorite for a variety of reasons. And so I was really happy this time because I could enjoy all the colors and know that next week I'd be back in Texas. So it was like I just kind of wallowed in nostalgia for an entire week. When you're hanging by a thread and you're in danger of falling and no one seems to notice, I'll be the one who hears you calling, and I'll be on my way before your thread can fray. When you're hanging by a thread, I'll be your safety net. If you're running out of time, and if your pockets are empty, and no one believes in you. For you, I'll always have plenty. When you've nothing up your sleeve, you can always count on me if you're running out of time. I'll be your credit line. I'll be your soothing balm. I'll be your cooling water. I'll be your sister, your brother, but most of all, I'll be your friend. When all you can do is cry, when all your nights are sleepless, and no one understands why, I'll be there to help pick up the pieces. When all the notes go wrong, and you can't even sing your own song, when all you can do is cry, I'll be your lullaby. I'll be your rising hope. I'll be your rock of faith. I'll be your melody, harmony. Most of all, I'll be your friend. I'll be your soothing balm. I'll be your cooling water. I'll be your sister, your brother, and most of all, I'll be your friend. I'll be your sister, your brother, and best of all, I'll be your friend. There. Thank you.
That's a real nice song.
Thank you. Well, I mean every word of it. Even though I was sitting in my car when I wrote it. Janet, thank you for being here. Yeah. I take it the Jerusalem Song Circle is done.
I finished 3 hours after they started.
Yeah, there was a lot of people. When I left, there were 25, and there were more coming in.
Oh, boy.
Yeah.
It's usually a 3-hour session.
Well, I hated to eat and run, but by the time, the fact that it started an hour later than usual, Israel goes back to standard time a week before we do.
Yeah.
So,
we changed the same day the UK did.
So Jackie, that's for you too?
Yeah, I missed the beginning. I thought I'd missed Jerusalem. So, because our clocks went back last night, so I thought I was adrift. I didn't realize.
Me, I got on an hour early and figured it out.
Well, you're lucky you have clocks that go back and forth automatically.
That's
a lot of analog clocks that I've got to run around and adjust them all.
Yeah.
The analogs are easier to adjust than the digital watches.
Mm-hmm.
That's true. If you got a hand, you can just move it back. It's true.
Yeah. Whereas
the digital ones, you need three hands, because one to open the setting, one to decide which setting you're changing, and the other to change the setting.
Yes. I've been asking for 3 hands for quite some time now. Nobody's listening.
Just get a watch.
Considers
Just
it
get
a genetic disability.
That to only have 2 hands?
Yes.
Yeah.
Religious Shiva.
Yeah, really.
Or Kali. She's got a bunch too. I'm sure she got one to spare.
I'll take it. Dave, thank you for being here. Your presence is much appreciated.
That's great. I loved it.
Thank you. I'm so glad that Neil could do it. Thank you for saying yes to this, Neil. And I wish that Chris had gotten to do it, because I know y'all would have enjoyed him, but we'll have him back at some future date in 2024. This show, I keep reminding myself to remember to say this. This show will be on hiatus during December because I also run the Austin Carolers, and the schedule is already, we have 16 shows, and it's too unpredictable. So I can't book anything for this because it may turn out that the Carolers have a show on that day at that time. So we'll be back we'll do the shows in November, and then after that we'll be back in January. And Rick, welcome back. I'm so glad you're here. And I see by your background that it is probably time to say goodbye. So I don't know.
And we're glad it didn't get hurt when his shelf fell down. So.
Yeah.
Yeah, I wasn't here. I was downstairs, and I kind of felt the house shake, and I thought, what in the world is that? And it wasn't until I was going to bed. I don't spend much time upstairs, and I really didn't localize it as to upstairs. So I came upstairs, and here was this desolation and computer parts everywhere.
Before we go, check out what Janet has got in the.
I've been following that.
One? This new one is very nice. Thank you, Janet. Oh. And I'm going to put the tip jar in there one last time. So it's been very pleasant seeing and singing for all of you, and thank you, Neil, again.
Well, Janet, it's been a great. I've had a wonderful conversation with you. I mean, I've had a good time.
Likewise.
I really enjoyed it. Thank you.
Sure, my pleasure.
When are you coming to the UK, Jan?
When am I coming to the UK? We were going to try to get there last summer, and this summer we have other people that want to go. So Northern England is close to Scotland, where my husband wants to go. And we went to Ireland a few years back, and we spent a week in Wales, in northern Wales, before we went to Ireland. And we landed at what for us was 3:00 in the morning, and he realized how close we were to Scotland. So the whole way to where we were staying in Wales, he was agitating to turn around and go to Scotland. And I'm like, it's 3:00 in the morning, hon. They may be awake, but I'm not.
Wales is
wonderful. I've been to Dublin, I've been to London and Leicester, England, many times. So
that's cool.
What part is Surrey in? I'm not familiar with England as I ought to be. Where is Surrey relative to, say, the south of England or London?
Surrey touches London.
Oh, okay.
It's southwest of London. It's not. I'm about 22 miles from Heathrow Airport.
Oh, so not that far, but south. Did you say southeast or southwest?
Southwest of London, yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
300 miles from the Duncow.
So yeah, to me, like, England is drivable, right? So I mean, you can cross Texas if you don't mind taking all day to do it. So I figured every other drive is smaller than that, and I have driven across Texas not in one day because you can't do it's 800 miles. But when you said I'm 300 miles from Duncow, I was just like, in England, how could you be 300 miles? Not that I disbelieved you. I figured you'd probably know, but yeah, we'll have to.
If I drove 300 miles, I'd be in another country.
Yeah.
Yeah, you would. That Israel was such a pleasure to drive through.
Yeah.
It was minutes rather than days. The only thing is, in Israel, our navigator was not of the working persuasion, so we tried to go to a couple places that Janet and her husband Charlie told us about, and the navigator would start going, arrive, turn right, turn left, and I just went, sorry, I'm going on Sderot because I don't know what to do here. Anyway, I love you all, and we'll see you soon. Good night.
Night.
Bye.